Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Mad Capper and there's another video on Raid Shadow Legends and another in our series of I Built Them. So you don't have to, as promised, here we are again. And whether you're seeing this Friday or Saturday, depends on when I can get this uploaded. Obviously, I'll be streaming Friday night. So that does limit my editing, and I'm working today, so I like doing this early. Get this out of the way, then do my daily work, which is always difficult to do on a Friday, especially when you're in the office. I like actually getting out and doing it. Hey, you don't care. What you're here for is you're here for Yelagirna. And she is a champion that I believe was part of a fusion not that long ago, a couple months ago. Well, gosh, I mean, it could have been 20 fusions ago if it was a couple months ago, but you know what I mean. And she was one of the epics, and I believe, if I recall, I used her. I didn't get a copy of her, so I had to wait until I pulled one, and sure enough, I have one now. And I could have just made up that whole scenario. But it sounds really good, so I'm going to go with it. So without further ado, one ado further, I'm going to put up a video right about here, a little link. That is to yesterday's or the day before's video, depending on when this goes up. My last video, which is an opportunity to win 540 gems. So if you haven't watched that, it's just me talking about the fusion and whether or not I will be participating / going, quote unquote, going for the fusion. Anyway, watch it anyway. You have the opportunity to win 540 gems in Ancient Shard by leaving a comment on there with the code. So check out the video and have a chance to win some gems for your account, which is never a bad thing. So here we are. Here we are. You may notice one thing. I didn't like doing it because I had been fairly free to play, low spend we'll call myself, for several months now. But this past week I did kind of whale out. I really wanted Siffy, so I basically bought all the void packs I can get my hands on and didn't get Siffy. I got no legendaries. As a matter of fact, the problem was I had just very recently pulled a Cardiel, which is a great problem to have, right? But I'm now 113 shards in, according to the tracker. That may be off by a couple. Depends. Sometimes when I pull them on a different computer, I forget to transfer the numbers over. So that happens. But anyway, long story short, I whaled out. I do have some resources, so thank God, so I can start making these videos again. But yeah, so that's why I'm telling you all this is an easier way than me having to spend money to get resources just to hopefully make these videos. You could just subscribe, as 65% of you who watch these videos do not do. If you just subscribe, and as for a bonus treat, hit that notification so you know when I'm next putting up a video. Then I could get closer to 8,000, which would allow me to get into the content creator tier 3. Now, yes, that does give me extra resources. If you wonder how, quote unquote, and I've seen it before, how unfair it is that we get weekly resources, you need to see my video on how much it costs for me to make one of these videos. And this is just an epic, by the way, those who make legendaries. And I would love to kind of not spend that much every time I make one of these videos. So it would be really cool if I can get to the test server, which is what it's all about, getting access to that test server so that when these new ones come out, now I'm not going to be able to test everything on the test server. I'm still going to have to use my resources for some of these old ones, but getting that small window of the test server when they drop new fusions and epics like the current one here, being able to test and build and try out and swap out gear and have all that fun and really put together a better package for you on these is what I'm asking for. So please like, subscribe. This is a big, fat, long intro that I'm going to do once in a while just to beg, plead, and borrow my way up to 8,000 subs. So with that out of the way, let's talk about Yelagirna. Mortify. Attacks all enemies. Has a 75 bookable to 100% chance of placing a 50% decreased attack debuff for 2 turns. Sword of Loss. Attacks one enemy. Has a 75 bookable to 100% chance of placing a block buffs debuff and a block active skills debuff for 2 turns. This attack is always critical. Great Cycle. Passive. Revives one random ally with 50% HP every time this champion kills an enemy. Breathtaker. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Places a 50% increased attack buff on this champion for 2 turns if this attack kills an enemy. I think that was a pretty good showcase of what her kit can do and how she can help you out there. Obviously, reviving your food doesn't really matter. Probably not, you don't want to do it, but at least it gives you an idea of kind of what her kit does. But now let's go over how I have her built out in this, and we'll talk about kind of different ways you can use her, and we'll take her into a few different scenarios, including I think we'll bring her into the arena, because I feel like in my head that's one of the areas where she might actually be a success. So let's head over to her kit and review, her artifacts and review her artifacts and masteries. All right, here's Yelagirna. I've been calling her Yelagirna for the longest time, and at the beginning of this video, because I always make these mistakes, and you guys love pointing them out. I actually took a second look, and it's Yelagirna. She looks cool. I don't know what she's got. Ancient candles. I don't know if that's Jay Giggs. If you see this video, did you know that she's actually a candle bar? I think she deserves to be part of the candle club. She's just got ancient candles right on the head there. This is ancient. But if you look inside there's got to be some kind of fuel into some way that's creating an emitting light. So there you go. Some cool tattoos. She's a little bit of a tattoo aficionado. You can see it on the back. What kills me is how much, look how much effort they put into making sure that and you can't see it because the cape's in the way. Can I take the cape off? Can capes and helmets be optional? Like they are in like a lot of, whatever. So here's how I built her out. I specifically, you guys are probably seeing that she's very slow, but I specifically did that for a reason. Her attack is 5778, her speed's 152, and 262 crit damage. We made sure she has enough accuracy to land her decreased defense or decreased attacks. That's one of her biggest and most important abilities. But as far as this goes, right, we have some cruel gear, we have some crit gear, crit damage gear. I will say that if I were going to build her out for normal use, I would make her a lot faster, but I wanted her to be slow because I wanted the enemy a chance to go so that she has this attack on revive type thing. I'm also going to re-gear her for the arena, and I'll talk about why, and I'll show you what I'll do when we get to the arena portion, which we'll do as the last thing before we do final thoughts, because again, this costs me it's cost me resources. So, but I really want to do this because this is where in my mind I'm going to show you what I think will work with this champion. I don't know if it will, but what I think will work for this champion. You went over the skills, but we should talk a little bit about this. First of all, 30% attack and faction crypts. Obviously that's a big hit, and I don't have faction crypts open. I looked, it's 6 days. I would have delayed this video by a day, but I'm not gonna delay this by a full week just to wait for faction crypts up. We're gonna take her into Doom Tower level 1 here on hard on this rotation, and that can simulate what's gonna happen. Really what it comes down to is, can you make use of her kit? Now, I have been very critical of attack-based champions that have a revive mechanic, but I will say for this one, I'm not as upset about it because it's a passive. And that means if any of these kill an enemy, you're potentially reviving someone, which is a much different thing. It's not like you have to get lucky on this. Remember, what is it? Was it Tashada that had that? I can't remember if it was Tashada. I feel like, well, you know, it's one of the barbarians that I absolutely hated, that they fixed, which would revive on a kill. I don't like an A3 to have a revive on kill, because then guess what? If that's not up when you kill, you gotta wait 3 more turns to do it. But in this case, it doesn't matter. Any one of her skills can kill, especially these two, which have pretty good multipliers. And this one will be good enough. I didn't fully book. It's only 5% damage, but I mean, really, it's got the increased attack if it kills an enemy. It's got the decreased AoE decreased attack, which is the biggest part about her. It's a 100% chance on a 3-turn cooldown. Pretty big deal. The only drawback with her, in my opinion, is that she's an attack-based champion. She's a little fragile, but we'll get into that later. As far as masteries, these are pretty standard masteries I went with. I went with my pretty consistent damage thing. I did go with War Master so that she would be useful if I took her into a boss fight. Think of, for example, in Faction Wars, you're putting in there, she's got a 30% increase attack, and it's up against the boss, you're not going to kill the boss. So her passive is out, but War Master will help her. If you were never going to use her against a boss, I would actually recommend Helm Smasher. Gives you that extra % chance to kill, especially on that 8-2, which means you're going to be reviving your champions a little quicker. And then defense, I did go with both counterattack and a counterattack. Both of these counterattacks, because again, if it gives me a chance to kill and you've got allies that are dead, this is just going to help more attempts to trying to kill something, right? So it's all about damage with her. And now let's take her. We're going to take her in. I'm going to do some damage testing like I do sometimes. I'm going to bring her in with some other epics, show you what her damage is in comparison to others, and then we're going to take her to the faction wars, or sorry, to the Doom Tower, and then finally we'll take her into the arena. So let's head over to the over to some damage testing right off the bat. Okay, here we are in stage 25 Dragon. Why I did that is because I have a mix of Force and Spirit Affinity, so I didn't want any weak affinity hits. Yes, that's going to give Yelagirna a bit of an advantage over Alika, where I feel like is the most common. Let's take a look at the stats of what we're using here. Whispers, just to compare single target damage. She does have a single target ability, which I suspect hits really hard. So we're going to compare them. Whispers, you know, her damage stats are 5,000 attack, 74 crit rate because she boosts her crit rate, so she only needs 70%. And 266 crit damage. The reason why she doesn't have higher attack is because I have her in some resist gear. I go back and forth on that just to try to use her in the Hydra boss, and because she puts buffs on herself. I'm trying to figure out different ways around that. I think some of the new, by the way, some of the new Sylvan, some of the Wood Elves, let's just call them what they are. Some of the Wood Elves are potentially, if I get them, are going to help out with that because they triple buff themselves and they have that new taunt. And the taunt is something that no other champion has but these ones so far. So that's really going to help not overlap buffs. And even when she puts her 2 buffs on her, the other guys will have 3 buffs on them. Solo buffs that she probably won't have on her. And that's going to help. I think going to help stop making her the target of Head of Mischief. You didn't need to that, but I told you anyway. Then Alika's we've upped her attack, so we've got 5894. She does have a blessing to help that along. She does have lower crit damage, and is in Savage. I should know these things before I hit record. Is still in Savage. So obviously lower crit damage, but ignoring defense, so that'll give you an idea. These aren't exactly 1-to-1. These are just rounding, just trying to get a general idea. And then of course Magnar, who's an HP based champion in Savage with 93,000 HP, 265 crit damage. He's got a bevy of AoE and single target skills. Widely regarded is the hardest hitting epic AoE champion in the game and cannot be debuffed. And of course we're bringing in Yelagirna, who we've already looked at her stats. She's going to be very slow, but that's okay. That's going to be fine for our testing. And then finally, we've got a debuffer in Venus. So let's go through this. By the way, some of you have asked me, why do I not use Doom Tower as my test bed so that I don't burn resources? And that would be great. The problem with Doom Tower is that they don't give me a consistent enemy, right? The enemies are usually mixed in their affinity, and that way it makes it more difficult to put apples to apples. Even with this, as you can see, it's hard to put apples with apples. I should be putting them up against all void, but I like the level 25 or 20 because that's what you guys know. You know those. Maybe 24 sometimes, because those are the most commonly farmed dungeons. So if I put them in 22, it's hard to really kind of you know, understand what the difference is. Okay, so here is Whisper with her single target. We're going to hit someone really strong. She hit obviously really strong, and she got an extra attack. Of course she did. That's going to ruin all the testing abilities. And then we'll take a single target here. We'll see if we can kill her. Boom. 173. They both hit very similar, by the way, numbers on their thing. Here, let's do that again. Because I brain farted. Okay, let's replay this. This is what I should do. By the way, I also put, because we've got her aura here, this is going to give all our attack champions a little bit of a boost. because we're using her aura. Now, let's go up against Sorceress because that makes more sense. So we'll go there. Killed her, but 174. Remember that. And his 97 and her 96, but also puts a block debuffs and a lock active skills. So there you go. Let's back out here. Not near as much damage, but way more utility is what I would say. Alika, remember, Alika hit for 170. It's just she killed it and so didn't get all the... So Alika actually hit harder than Whisper with her ability. Whisper's difference is that on a boss, she gets extra damage. So whereas Alika would not hit as hard on a boss, Whisper's damage against a boss would actually increase. Magnar and Yelagirna, I would argue, virtually identical in damage. He has some debuff spread with HP burn, some very situational stuff. But Yelagirna does have that block active skills along with the block buff, which is a very strong skill. It is on a single target. Okay, you know what we're going to do? We're going to first of all lag out a bit. We're actually going to... God, I hate the lag in this game. We're going to take her out because she's only single target. She's not really worth... Whisper's not really worth. We'll bring her back in for the A1 test, but this way we have the greatest chance of champions of enemies surviving. Hopefully we get proper buffs here, because this costs me a lot of energy. There we go. Okay. Her AoE, bam, does have the increased cooldown. Only does against, by the way, and this is a thing, one of the Sylvan has it as well. Keep in mind, the skills have to be on cooldown for her to increase the cooldown. If there's no cooldown, it's null, right? So she doesn't actually cool anything down because all the cooldowns are at 0. But if it's 1, she'll add 1 to it and make it 2. Just so you're all on the same page with that. Now let's use his, and then finally her AoE there. She did kill 2 people, so she's probably going to show a little less damage. Yeah, see, that's not really fair. But Magnar 655, right? So remember him at 655. And let's edit the team. Look at the lag. Oh my gosh. I've only been playing since this morning. It's not like I've been doing a lot. Okay, so we'll take him out. We know he was at 655. Look at it. Man. Get your programming together. Like, that's a programming issue. Alright, again, we'll test AoE here versus AoE. Looks like pretty similar damage. 291, 322. Yelagirna has more crit damage. Alika's in Savage. Plus she's got some I would say that's fairly comparable, I think. So then let's bring them back for the A1 test. I mean, it's all comparative. We don't have to have Whisper in the lead here. We don't need that extra attack. Actually, no, let's not do the extra attack damage. Good. So now we'll do A1s here. We'll go here. Boom. Say 40,000. Of course, she's going to get an extra turn. And then she's got a 50-50 for an extra turn. Or an extra attack. She didn't get it. Hit that 87. And then 45. So 57,000, 93 for Alika, and Alika only got 1 hit. If she had 2 hits, she would be doubling that. It's one of the hardest hitting A1s in the game. Whisper, not to be denied, hit for a little bit harder than Alika, but she did get 2 turns. So her passive, her 10, I think it's a 10% chance, actually procced. If you take a look, of course, this lag is crazy. Right, so it's their passive here. 10% chance of granting an extra turn whenever this champion lands a critical hit. So we hit that 10%. That's a 1 in 10. So really what you see is her damage is okay, but it's nothing to be crazy about. The good thing is she has an aura that's going to give her 30% in Faction Wars. So next, I'm going to take her into an all-epic room to kind of give you an idea of how she might work in Faction Wars or in other dungeons for you. So let's head there next. Just for the sake of this scenario, and we're also going to use her in the arena with this build. So it's going to give her some pretty good attack, I think, and some survivability. And that's where I really see her possibly being used to any success, other than just, hey, I need someone that does damage. And it's at the expense of my beautiful Trunda, who already lost her home as the #1 nuker on my team, RIP. But we did put her in a stone skin, and I've really been liking her in the stone skin. Obviously, I still need some better stone skin. We've got some decent stats, but I think we can really min-max it better. Look, I'm using a 65% crit damage glove. Mother of God, like, oh, that hurts my soul. But at least we have some pretty good, we got some attack here. So overall, this is the stats you're going to see. She's dropping attack and dropping a little bit of crit damage, but then she's getting that 2-turn protection. So I think, and then we're going to take her into the arena and test her with this too. So let's take her into the same scenario. Now that she's got stone skin, she ain't going to get killed, which is what you want, right? So honestly, even in Faction Wars, you may want her faster or slower, that's up to you. But the point of this is to make sure she lives through stuff like this. Now we're going to end up with the exact same thing that happened last time, right? We're going to get cardio, boom, up, and then we're going to get some attack. But now she's going to attack someone else. Now the hope is that we get a death here. And we didn't. But she might still die next time. We have hope here. We have hope. Imagine hoping your champion dies. Let's see. Is there anyone going to... Can I get a kill? Nope, we got a full heal. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for the full heal. This isn't going to work. It's going to probably work in arena. I think we'll be able to curate a better scenario where one of my champions can actually die. This is my fault. I brought in a healer because I brought in Ugo. I should use a different... Yeah, let's do that. I really want to see this. I want to see her successful because I think it's easy to say she's not usable, but I don't think that's 100% genuine. So she would be a really good one, except for I don't have gear on her. I can quickly gear her. I just want to give you guys a scenario where I think Yelagirna can work. Even though it's kind of manufactured, at least you can visualize, and I wouldn't say it's a bad idea to build her out like this, to be honest with you. Wouldn't put her in your best stone skin, but I'd put her in stone skin. I have no problems with it. Maybe you put her in speed boots to speed her up a bit. Whatever makes sense for your team. By the way, the Thalasia, we were trying a bunch of different stuff, which is probably why she's in the gear she's in. Let me just find some speed. 15 speed, that's good. And then just give me some good speed on the backside. There we go. 119, that's perfect. That's fine. It's probably not fast enough. Is Whisper faster? Well, Allure is definitely. Well, whatever. Let's see what happens here. Now we don't have any heal. So this should help us. Although, does she put Leech on? I can't remember now. No, she just puts... No, okay, we're fine. Bam. That decreased attack is nice. We don't have the block, so all this crap's going to happen. So we're definitely going to see some damage, I would suspect. And hope. And hope. Stop. Would someone kill Allure? You've got one job. You've got one job. That's okay. That's okay. These guys will get it. Imagine, like, just having to manufacture. Problem is, my gear is just too good. Oh my god. Oh my god. Someone just kill Allure. There we go. We got that block. We got that block damage. I'm cheering for the other team. Is that weird? Is it weird to cheer for the other side? I don't know. Please somebody die. Oh, God. Good job. How did she fail on 2 of them? That's weird. Why are their resists so high? Do they have a resist lead? Is Kaiden resist jam? Seems sus. I mean, I can crunch top end Doom Tower waves, but I can't do level 1. Still nobody's died. Oh, we got 2 revivers here. This will get them. Okay, we got 1 reviver here. So we're still okay. Well, we don't have any revivers. There's no one's gonna die. None of you are gonna die. I'm gonna get okay. So we'll take her into the arena next, and we'll see if we can manufacture scenarios to help you get an understanding of where I see she's usable. Okay, be right back. All right, here's a good, bad theoretical test because of Warlord. Well, we'll try to power through the strip here. Let's find out what happens. I'm just trying. We want people to die. She's in stone skin. The goal here is let's hopefully get some damage. Let's go. We'll do this. We don't want everyone to die. She's probably gonna kill you. That's typical. We gotta get rid. We gotta whittle out some of that. We still have an extra one here, so we're good. Everything so far. I'm gonna pretend she doesn't have revive up for the sake of it. Good. I don't know if I can kill anyone yet, but we'll sure give it our college best. Let's try this. Boom. See? Death, revive. Gives you that opportunity because we have her in stone skin. We have that opportunity to revive a champion. Now, I have Duchess. Sure, Duchess could have revived someone, but that's not to say that there wouldn't still be death. But now again, boom, that's the champion I revived. I win. So there's a perfect example of how I think she can be used. This is something that I've complained about that type of champion forever, but with Stone Skin, it actually makes it viable. And it's unfortunate that they changed Tashada. Is it Tashada? I feel like it's not Tashada. Yeah, it's got to be Tashada. Tashada's the one that had the revive. I can't even remember. Okay, yeah, we get that. A little late on the standings. I've already played Doom Tower. Yeah, so I hope that gives you some kind of idea of how you can use her. Is you put her in Stone Skin, you get her survivable. You can't just build her for survivability, because then she won't do enough damage. But if you build her in nuking Stone Skin, she's got a good chance to survive. And then you can kill champions. That A3, especially single target, hits really hard. Plus, you're giving yourself a survivable A2. It's an AoE. It's going to help weaken shields. It's going to put attack down, up. You can build her for as much accuracy you feel is appropriate for the level you're playing and the champions you're willing to be fighting in. But let's go into the final thoughts here, and because I'm already talking final thoughts. So let's just go in the... Let's go to final thoughts. All right, I'm gonna first off call her Yelagirna, because she's not Yelagirna, and even though I called myself out for doing it at the beginning, I still went right back to old habits. But Yelagirna, she has a use, and I think that's something that probably 6 months ago we couldn't say, 3 months ago we probably wouldn't say, and now I think with enough turns of the Doom Tower, or sorry, the boss, the Hydra boss available, and it's slightly down tuning so even people can start killing on normal. I think it's really made Stone Skin where there's a fair amount. I don't even do it all the time. I forget keys all the time, but I still have some Stone Skin. We put Stone Skin on her, and I think that's the specific way that Yelagirna can be used, because you need her to nuke. This whole thing is about killing an enemy, but she's an attack-based champion, so she's not survivable. She's going to be rather flimsy. And if you build her for good survivability, you're going to lose out on her attack. So, especially in her best spot, which is probably Faction Crypts. Now, I don't think this is a champion that I would recommend building for too many of you, but if you're looking for that niche item, a niche champion like this in Stone Skin in 3v3 arena or lower end arena, I think you've got an opportunity here. to make a unique champion that I think people will not really think about. You could put her conceivably, though I fear the AI, conceivably you could put her on arena defense and something like that. You got Duchess, you got her in Stone Skin, and you got a couple protection champs or a protection champ and a nuker, right? The whole point of her was to make sure that Baron got her turn, and by being able to revive him and cycle through again, got him his chance. Plus, I killed her reviver, or the other team's reviver in arena. So outside of that, I think outside of Stone Skin, it's an improperly built, conceived champion. I think if you need just nukes, you need that AoE decrease attack. This is a 3-turn AoE decrease attack, 100% chance. That's an amazing skill for an epic. So don't get me wrong. As far as very hard hitting, it's got a block buff, blocked active skills, very nice single target. It's got a pretty good AoE that has reasonable damage, not strong damage, but reasonable damage. But it brings in a decreased attack, which is very nice to have. And then an A1 that puts an increased attack on herself, and is a 2-hitter, so that's always nice. Allowing you to revive champions, though, is kind of her specialty, and that's where the kit itself conceivably doesn't work very well. I think that the revive on kill is for an HP champion or a defense-based champion, where they'll be around long enough to do that. However, as we showed, if you have Stone Skin, suddenly she becomes a defense or an HP champion, or at least the opportunity, the 50-50 chance to keep that way. And that's if you're putting if you're putting her in a position where she could be stripped of that Stone Skin. If you're using her on offense like we did, to target certain comps, then you can just steer clear of the Madame Ceresses and the Kaimars of the world and just hone in on competing against comps that you think you have an easy kill and you have that potential to be able to execute. So from that perspective, I do think she's worthwhile and a very niche. I think if you are needing help on orcs, I think she's going to give you the damage you need. She's going to give you that opportunity to revive. Keep in mind that PvE, it's a lot easier to find champions that you can one-shot. So, but I honestly, I would have a little fun. I would have a little fun with her in the arena. I don't think she's an awful champion for the arena in Stone Skin. I think it's a good, viable comp that you can use out there. Is it the best? No, but we don't all have top end, 3+4 barons and the like. So some of us need to have options like this. So those are my final thoughts on her. I don't think she's a strong build, but I think she's a maybe for champions that are looking for some damage in the orcs faction to complete, and people who want to play around with a very niche ability to slow her down, make sure she's going last, put her in Stone Skin so that when your champions need it the most, she can revive one of your allies and turn the tide and turn a loss into a win. Those are my thoughts on Yelagirna. What are your thoughts? Do you think she's worthwhile, or do you think she's a little bit too niche, or just not quite built in the kit that you would want to use? Let me know in the comments down below. But as always, thank you very much for watching the video. I appreciate you. I appreciate the support you guys give me each and every week. So as always, please be safe, be kind, and we'll see you in the next video.